Hello everyone, my name's Nisha and I am the YogicAmnesiac. Today we're going to be doing a gentle back routine. We're attempting to do any of these poses. I know a lot of them may seem really simple, but when we're talking about injuries, it's really easy to aggravate them and you think you're not even doing anything wrong. So please talk to your doctor. If you have an injury, it's the best thing you can do for your own body, and honestly, it's the only way to really know what kind of treatment you need. We're working on a really easy, slow routine today. We're going to be on the mat on our backs most of the time. We might get on our knees a little bit here and there, but we will not be doing any standing poses. This is all about relaxation and stretching, working out any kinks you might have in your back, and all that kind of stuff. I had a request actually to do a back video, so that's why I'm doing it. Keep in mind that you can pick and choose poses, so if you do have an injury and some poses work for you and others do not, or if you just don't like some poses, you are more than welcome to skip these. I really hope more so that this video will give you tools to move on and do your own practice. You don't necessarily have to do this sequence every single time you want to stretch out your back. A good resting pose, which we will be visiting, is child's pose. So if at any time you feel really tired or need a break, you can go into child's pose, or you can lay out flat on your back with your knees bent, which is the position we will actually be starting in, just to really relax and rest our backs first and foremost. Props should not be necessary for this routine, but I will be using a block for spinal twists when you lie on your back and let your knees drop to either side. Those can be really uncomfortable on my hips. That's either because I'm really skinny or because I have hip injuries. So if you fall into either of those groups, I suggest you have a blanket, a block, a towel, anything handy. You could even honestly use like a pair of jeans or a t-shirt. You don't need that much cushion, honestly, but it's just something you might want, and it's really, you don't have to have a block. You can use pretty much anything. So without further ado, I think it's time we hopped on our mat, and we'll start by lying on our backs. Alright, so we're going to start out lying on our backs with our knees bent, and this is honestly, if you were having back problems, this is probably one of the most beneficial poses to do, is to just lie on your back and rest a little bit. And here we're going to honestly just take a couple minutes to breathe. Think about the muscles in your back releasing, relaxing a little bit. You may even feel your back stretching out in this pose. I tend to hold a lot of tension, and I'll feel my low back slowly stretch out as it reaches towards the ground. You can put your hands wherever you'd like. I like to have them on my belly so I can feel my breathing and keep my breathing slow and even, but you can lay them alongside your body. If you need to wiggle around and get comfortable, now's a good time. This is one of the resting poses I recommend if during this practice you find yourself feeling pain or you're fatigued. You can always return to this pose. And we will do Shavasana at the end, but you can also choose to do it in this pose as opposed to having your legs out if this feels better for you. So from here, we're going to lift our right foot off the floor a little bit and bring our right knee into our chest. I like to hold on to my shin, but you can hold on to the back of your thigh, and you can also use a strap in this pose. But we're going to stretch out a little bit here, and then we'll send out our left leg nice and long, I know this might not seem like it's targeting your back, but it does do some good for your low back. And there's a lot of big muscles all over our body that make a difference to just how our back functions. If you'd like to get a little ankle roll in here, rotate your ankle one way and then the other. That might feel good. It's not your back, but that doesn't mean you can't take moments to take care of other body parts as well. From here, we can draw our right knee to the left side and come into a gentle twist. I'm not even bringing my right knee all the way to the ground. I'm sort of just letting it hang out here. And I'm extending my right arm out. I'm not even turning my head. I'm keeping this twist nice and gentle. I actually have a block right here. And you could place this block under your knee as you let your body relax if you'd like, if you have a block. If not, you can just let it hang out and you'll feel your back twisting a little bit, relaxing. And you might also feel the stretching out your hip. Again, another important part to our body, which will help our back be healthy, is our hips, having healthy hips as well. We're just gonna enjoy this twist a little. We will twist again after this, so just keep this one delicate. Keep this one like a warm-up, unless you really want to go deep into this twist. There's no need to. Inhale, bring this knee back up into the chest. Squeeze it in again. Now we'll bring our left leg up. Set our right foot down, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Bring the left foot off the ground, left knee to chest. Again, hands on the shin, on the back of the thigh, or you can use a strap. Lots of options. Hug it in a little bit. Take a moment here, and then we'll send the right leg out nice and long. And again, you can roll your ankle out, rotate your ankle. Stretch it out, relax it a little bit. This is actually a really good pose for your back. One thing I will just take a quick moment to recommend, if you do have back problems, I highly recommend you learn the anatomy of the spine. It's very interesting, and different parts move in different ways. So that might help you understand why you're having pain. From here, we'll bring the left knee over to the right side. Same thing. I'm sending my left hand arm, my whole arm out nice and long. Sending this whole thing over. Again, I'm not trying to reach the ground or anything, just a gentle twist. Letting the back muscles really loosen up here. This is, again, you could put a block under your knee. If you have a block, it might support you and you can relax a little bit into this pose. Or you can just let it hang out. You could even use books, lots of options, pillows. Again, breathing here, you may feel the stretch in your hip and the side of your thigh. But it is doing some work on your back as well. Try to relax as much as you can too. And then we'll inhale, bring it back up. Hug your knee into your chest again. Bring the right foot up. And set the left foot down. Rearrange your body if you need to. And again, just take a moment to rest in this pose again. This is a really, really good resting pose. And take a moment now that we've just done one pose even, and see how your body feels. Check in, again, especially if you have injuries. If your back is hurting, is your back feeling better? This is a good time to learn about your body and how you're feeling. We're going to do now, well, actually first we're going to lift both of our feet up and bring our knees into our chest this time. Both of them. And just hug them in. You can rock side to side and give yourself a little mini back massage against the floor. You can move your knees around in a circle, move just your knees side to side. Move your feet again. But this one can also feel really good on the back. Some people like to rock back, downward and upward, back and forth, kind of like a boat. And then from here we will set both of our feet down, send them out nice and long. If you need to scoot up on your mat, you can. And from here we're going to stretch our arms out, up and overhead, straight overhead. And stretch out the whole body. Notice I'm trying not to arch my back, I'm trying to keep it kind of flat to the mat. This is not supposed to be a back bend. My feet are flexed. And I'm reaching up towards the sky. And then from here you can relax a little as we walk our feet over to the right side of our mat, right foot first. Cross the left leg over, or you can just walk it over next to the right foot. Then we'll lean our whole upper body to the right as well, creating a sort of crescent shape. And we'll stretch out the left side of our body a little bit. This is a pretty gentle side bend. You can grab your left wrist with your right hand. Be careful you're not really squeezing it, just a gentle hold. And you can tug on it a little bit, tug it up and out or up and to the right. Don't yank it over to the right. You might feel this more along the rib cage, but that doesn't mean it's not doing good for your spine. And your rib cage is very, very connected to your spine, so it's a very important part of your spine in a weird sort of way. Then we'll bring our body back up, uncross our legs. You can bring your arms down for a moment. And we send our arms back up, stretch out just for a couple seconds, and then we walk our feet over to the left side of our mat this time. Cross our right foot over the left, or just walk your right foot up next to it. Lean our upper body over to the left and create a nice crescent shape again. I'm holding onto my right wrist again, a gentle hold, not yanking on it or anything, just to kind of help it move up and stretch out the right side of my body. And if you use your left hand to pull on your right arm or your other hand on the other side, you can really let the right side of your body relax more. Take a few more breaths here. And then we'll bring our body back up. Release our legs, release our arms. And I'm going to bend my legs again because I just love this pose. You can keep your legs straight. And once again, we'll relax here just for a few brief moments. It is important to check in on your body, especially if you have injuries or if you're hurting. That way you also know which pose is the one that hurt you, if a pose is hurting you, or which poses help. And if you don't really know what your injury is yet, or you're still working that out with your doctor, it might even help you figure out where it is and what's going on. Now we're going to come into our supine spinal twist, which is where I'm going to use my block. I'm going to set it right next to my legs here. That way I still get a twist, but my legs don't go all the way to the side, and that helps my hip feel better. So we'll inhale and exhale, and well, first make sure your feet are on the floor like mine. If you have them extended, bring them up. And then as we exhale, we'll drop our legs over to the right side. We'll send our arms out into a T shape, and we'll look to the left. If you're using a block, you may need to adjust it a little bit. And if you don't use a block, you can get a deeper twist. Some people also don't have the range of motion in their spine, which is a nice reason to use a block. But I just like to sort of give my hip a little bit of a buffer. You can also take your right hand here, place it on your left thigh, and help tease it over. Again, breathing here, relaxing, sort of let your muscles release here. Now we'll bring our knees back up again. If you're using a block, switch sides, and then we'll let our knees drop to the left side. Extend our arms out and look to the right side. And again, you can take your left hand and place it on the right thigh, tease it over, help your twist get a little bit deeper. Take a couple more inhales and exhales. And then we'll bring your knees on up. And you can take a few more breaths here just to feel it out again. Hopefully, if you did have a tense back, it's feeling a little bit better now. It's feeling looser. You may actually find the small of your back is getting closer to the ground as it's loosening up. We tend to arch our low backs a little bit too much, in fact, so for some of us it's really good to let it release and try to flatten almost along the ground, but we're not forcing it. It will never get perfectly flat usually. From here, we're going to flip over and come on to all fours. And we're going to do a couple cat-cows. This will be a little bit more strength-based. Of course, it's not a particularly difficult pose usually, but if you are dealing with some sort of injury or a particularly weak back, you may not necessarily find it easy. So from here, we'll inhale Tuck the pelvis, round the back, and drop the head down. And as we exhale, we'll tilt the pelvis forward, arch the back, and raise the head. And really think about making every movement very slow and intentional. Think about where things end and try not to push them too much. There is a lot of bone that will stop you from going farther into poses, and we don't need to press bones against each other. Push into your hands and really lift up. You don't want to be sinking down. You want to have, well, good posture, sort of like a proud cat strutting around and puffing its chest out. And then from here, we can walk our hands forward and come into a sort of like modified downward facing dog. It's like often called puppy pose, and there are a few other names for it. But it's a good way to get the same stretch in your back while still relaxing a little bit more. It's a little bit less effort. And you can let your chest start sinking towards the floor, your back relax. If you can reach, you can place your forehead on the floor. If you don't have that range of flexibility, you can place your forehead on a block, a book, a blanket. I drop my elbows to the ground here a little bit so that I take the stretch out of my shoulders and into my back more. My shoulders don't love being stretched out very much, so I like to avoid overstretching them. And then from here, we're going to push on back and come into child's pose. Because we just had our arms extended forward, I'm going to relax them alongside my body, but if you really like having your arms forward, then you can absolutely do that. This is another good time to do a quick little body scan. How are you feeling? You can also just relax here and breathe. We're going to take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, we'll slowly push on up. Roll up nice and slow. And we just did have our head down a lot. So take a moment here, sort of let your blood come back to normal. You can feel a little dizzy, lightheaded. It seems like you weren't that far, but it can make a big difference. And now we'll come on forward. And we'll lay flat on our belly and come into crocodile pose, where we stack one hand on top of the other and place our forehead down. And we're just going to take a couple breaths there. Now from here, we're going to bring our elbows in and place them under our shoulders, but if you need to, you might place your elbow a little bit farther forward. We'll try not to go behind the shoulder though. Bring your shoulders back and down. Think about lifting your chest up. You may be pushing into your elbows in the floor. And we're coming into Sphinx. Think about how proud the Sphinx is. It's not slouchy. It's got its chest puffed up and standing or sitting tall. This is a good time to mention that your low back is the area of your back where most of your forward and back movement will come from. So in this pose, if you're thinking about really arching your upper back, you probably won't do much there. It'll mostly be straight. It doesn't tend to arch very much, partially because of your ribs, also how the vertebrae are made. But the low back is where most of the bending will come from. And then from here, we'll come back to crocodile. Take a couple breaths here. And now we're going to come into cobra. We'll place our hands alongside our chest. You may find you need to move them forward a little bit. That's totally fine. I always like to start by peeling up a little bit, just enough so my chest can come up, but I can still lift my hands off the ground. So it's a little bit of a strength exercise. And then still using those muscles, we'll try to lift on up, and eventually you'll have to use your hands. And we'll come into Sphinx. And you may not lift as high as I do. I have a fairly flexible back. So you may have your hands farther forward, you may have your elbows more bent. But we're thinking the same thing we did in Sphinx with our shoulders back and down, our chests puffed out nice and proud. And it may help you to think like, I want to arch my upper back or I want to squeeze my shoulder blades together. But just remember, most of the bend will be in your low back. And that's 100% natural. Take a few more breaths here. Maybe you'll find you could slowly push on up a little bit more. And as you push up, you'll have to start looking up if you're flexible enough. You're not throwing your head back, but your gaze will naturally move up so you're not tucking your chin down or looking at the floor. And we'll relax forward. Take a brief moment here in crocodile. And now before we get too relaxed in this pose, we're going to push on up and flip over. And we're going to come into Shavasana, where we again have the choice to keep our knees bent, or you can extend your legs out. I'm going to keep my knees bent this time, just to mix it up a little. And I just love how this pose feels. In this practice, it is particularly important that we take the time to relax afterward. Even though it may have seemed gentle, or perhaps you skipped some of the harder poses or certain poses for whatever reason, you still need to relax your back. It's a very strong yet delicate part of our body, the spine and back. And it quickly will get out of balance or hurt itself, and if we don't take time to relax and try to feel what's happening and then just rest, then we might hurt it more, or we might not learn what's going on. If you are dealing with an injury, feel comforted that you are taking steps to move forward, to heal. It can be very hard, but you're not alone in that. There are many people who are in similar situations. If you're just taking care of yourself, that's just as admirable. It's important that we start early. And if you're just here to relax, then that's equally wonderful. And you're taking care of yourself. So relax here a little bit, let all the muscles in your body release. You may find you want to extend your legs out if you had them bent. Let them flop out. Namaste.